Thank you, Audrey and Rusty. Appreciate it. Invocation will be done by Becky Earhart.
Y'all bow your heads, please. Dear God, help us to understand others, to learn to cooperate with our neighbors and friends, to work together to seek solutions, to learn to compromise, especially when the greater good is involved, and to seek truth by seeking you and not the noise around us. Give us the wisdom to realize that our purpose here involves honesty, charity, and concern from all humankind. Teach us to respect the religious beliefs of others and to promote freedom of thought and expression. Let us live the Rotary four-way test by being fair and truthful with all people at all times. We pray for the day when the world is free from hatred, racism, and bigotry. But until that day, help us to work together in our own community to make our home a peaceful and welcoming place for all your children. We are thankful for the time we had all had with our families and friends over this past Thanksgiving holiday, and may we seek gratefulness in our everyday lives. We ask that your blessing rest upon our nation and all its inhabitants. May we all listen and seek your wisdom in this time of unrest and confusion. Please guard and protect our land, our soldiers, and our citizens from all danger. Help us to live the words that we pray. And may you bless this food and this message we are about to receive today. In Christ's name, amen.
Thank you, Becky. Appreciate that. For our visiting Rotarians and guests, Rebecca Gunlogson.
Welcome, everyone. Today we actually don't have any visiting Rotarians, but I do believe we have a few visitors. So if you are with a visitor, please stand up and we will go around and you can introduce your visitor.
Hello, I'm Christy Idson, and I'm very honored to have with me today Francis Shadowski with Columbia College. He is the Executive Vice President, and he is responsible for external relations. So if you will, make sure you introduce yourself to Francis before you leave today. I'm very happy to have him here with us.
All right, well, thank you.
Thank you. Glad y'all are here. We have other guests too, but I'll introduce in just a few minutes when we get to that. Next on the agenda is going to be Health and Happiness with Andy Shane, who's also been a double hit with the Salvation Army bell ringing. So, Andy?
Good afternoon, everyone. How is everybody doing today? I was just saying, I think you all got your Thanksgiving naps out of the way, so hopefully you won't fall asleep during all of this. But as Mason said, I'm doing a little double duty today. I'll go ahead and start off with the business of the bell ringing. As you know, we are going to have some shifts this year. They're all at the Greens locations, both at Assembly Street and the new one on Garner's Ferry. So here's your opportunity, if you haven't had a chance to check out the new one at Garner's Ferry, to do that. I would say about 2/3, 60% of the shifts are taken. That means we've got plenty of shifts left. It's easy to sign up. It's a Google document. In fact, if you want to, you can come see me after the meeting today. I can get you signed up right on my phone. So please do that. I'd like to go ahead and get those shifts filled up. We took obviously a reduced number of days as well, considering what we've been going through. So hopefully we can take care of that and raise some money for the Salvation Army, and maybe, I don't know, maybe get a little holiday shopping for yourself or a loved one or for yourself. So please do that. As I said, if you have any questions, please feel free to come see me. So that ends that portion. We're now into the health and happiness portion of my routine. And I only had one notice that I was given, and that Bernie Maybach's son, Thomas, who was 27, passed away earlier this month. Rusty was one who told me, so obviously he might know a little bit more, but obviously when you hear someone that young passing, it's obviously pretty hard, especially this time of year. So obviously Bernie and his family are in our thoughts. considering all of that. And I guess what I sometimes do is when I don't get any other health or happiness, does anybody else have anything from the congregation they want to share that maybe didn't get to me either way? All right, everybody's still comatose for the turkey. So speaking of turkey, my inspiration, actually let me step back for a minute. Let me do the message from the card committee. As always, we have our ubiquitous blue cards on the table, and there's a reason obviously why we need to be kicking into that each week or every month or however we want to kick in, depending on how we want to do it. And today's message was actually apparently from a recent Twitter message that the card committee took. And the message started off saying, "What is heartbreak?" Heartbreak is when you're helping loved ones with dementia perform a task of everyday living, like dressing or toileting. When they look at you with a mix of confusion, sadness, and fear, and ask, "What do I do now?" Certainly a lot to think about this time of year. So please give into the buckets and help. Let's obviously help defeat Alzheimer's as much as we can. So I guess we're going to go from the blue bucket. I've obviously talked about the red kettles. We've talked about blue buckets, but let's go ahead and talk a little bit about something I discovered over Thanksgiving. I didn't manage my mother-in-law insisted that we get together, so we did, and we had a good time. And while I was perusing her bookshelf, I saw a book called The Book of Clean Jokes. It was dated from 1989. And I asked her if I could borrow it because I knew I had health and happiness, and I thought there might be some inspiration in there. And she gave this great ringing endorsement for this book. I still have that. So with that, I'll go ahead and give you some of the classics from the Book of Clean Jokes that came from my mother-in-law's. So a boy asks his father, "What is a necessary evil?" The father says, "A necessary evil is one that you like so much that you don't want to abolish it." What did they tell the cannibal when he came to dinner late? Everyone's eating. All right. So a couple is talking, and one of them says, "Here it is, the middle of January, and we're still cleaning up after Christmas. Look, one week we cleaned out the savings account, and the next week we're cleaning out the checking account." "Hey, is your spouse outspoken?" Not by anyone I've ever met." So there was a cheapskate who pulled his kids out of school when he heard that they would have to pay attention. So his son came home distraught one day. Came through the back door, his mom greeted him, and his mom said, "What did your father say about the dent that you put in the car?" And the son said, "Should I leave out the swear words?" And mom said, "Yes, of course." Then he didn't say anything. Okay, so what do you call all the little rivers feeding that big river in Egypt? Juveniles. All right. So a spouse is meeting with their lawyer and says, "Look, if I take out $1 million life insurance policy on my spouse and they die tomorrow, what do I get?" Lawyer thought for a moment. "Life." So one prom chaperone was saying to another as they watched the students gyrate on the dance floor, "These new dances, they're vulgar, they're horrible." The other person agreed and said, "Yeah, and I can't do them either." All right, and finally, one thing this book did have was 63, I'm not kidding, 63 pages of knock-knock jokes. And because the four-way test said I shouldn't make you all suffer over 63 pages of knock-knock jokes, let me at least share one with you, but of course, it involves audience participation. Knock-knock. Finish. Well, you can finish this yourself. There we go. And with that, that's over. I want to say thanks to everyone. Thanks to everyone who has signed up for the Salvation Army. As I said, if you have, I have a receipt for those of you who have signed up, so please come see me. And obviously, I want to always say the good work that Mason and the executive officers do here in putting this together, especially during this time. It's not easy, and I really appreciate what they do. Thanks.
Thank you, Andy, and for all the work that you're doing. Y'all, it could not be easier to register and sign up to be a bell ringer. You literally just open the app and pick the time you want, the time slot that's available to write your name in, and it holds it for you. Billy Canty and I are doing it, as traditionally we always do. It's also extremely important that we fill all the slots. We only have so many spaces, Salvation Army is very concerned that they're not going to be able to raise as much money this year because a lot of people aren't going into the physical stores. They're all ordering everything online. Well, you can't order what you get at Green's online, at least not very easily. So they're counting on us. Please get online. It's in the newsletter, and or go see Andy after the meeting, and then fill in a spot for a 2-hour shift to go ring the bell. It's a lot of fun. Bring your kids if you want to. Again, those shifts are December 9th through the 17th. Don't forget the buckets, as Andy mentioned, for the CART fund. We do have, as part of our efforts and all the philanthropy that this club does, this Saturday is a big event for our club. It is our food packing event, and we're going to be benefiting the families of Richland 1. This Saturday here out in the hallway at 9 o'clock in the morning, we're going to have our food packing event. We have about 40 people so far. We need a few more. We have learned that you can bring some people under the age of 18, so if you have children at home that are maybe in high school or middle school, bring them and they can be put to work as well, as a volunteers, no slave labor or child labor or anything like that. So bring your family. Do let Jonathan Jeffcoat know if you can come. Right now we're planning on, he's sitting right up here, we are planning on 40 people. The more people we have, the faster we'll get it done. We're planning on packing 10,000 meals for Richland 1, and we need everybody here 9 o'clock this Saturday morning. It's also, next Monday is the last day that you can turn in your books. You know that Cynthia Giles with our club takes books every now and then. And she's collecting books, but she won't be collecting them anymore this year after next Monday. So if you have some extra books at home for children or adults, please bring them with you and give them to Cynthia. She'll take them and distribute them around the area. Next Monday is your last day for the year to do that. You all received your quarterly invoices for the year. Please pay those. Next week, December 7th meeting, we will hold our annual elections for the 2021-22 Board of Directors for the Columbia Rotary Club. So be here for that on Monday the 7th. As y'all may remember from last week, or those people who were not here, Brad Henry has left Capital Consultants, but Della Chadwick is our new consultant manager, and we have Andy Wilson, who's also here today. So they're helping to manage us, and we're going to keep on moving with Capital Consultants. If you have any questions, let me know, or Andy, or Della. Membership, of course, is essential to our club and its growth and development. Next Monday, December 7th, we're going to have a Discover Rotary meeting here at 11:30. If you have any prospective members who would like to join our club or find out more about Rotary in general, they should come next Monday. It's the last Discover Rotary meeting we'll do this year at 11:30 here in this room. We'll be watching it on the screen and doing it here. In anticipation of that meeting and the Discover Rotary meeting on the 7th, we have a great speaker next week. We have great speakers every week, but we have acclaimed former basketball player Alex English is going to be our speaker next week. So bring even some people who are not interested in being in the Columbia Rotary Club, maybe want to hear what Alex English has to say. Bring them as a guest next Monday the 7th. One other thing, this is a big deal. Robin Gorman could not be here today, but she's in charge of our foundation giving, the Rotary International Foundation. Remember that we're trying to be an E-Ray club. Every Rotarian every year gives $100. As part of our invoices, we give you $25 for the Rotary International Foundation 4 times a year to get $100 a year. We want everybody to give $100. We have a special promotion, 2 special promotions going on between now and January 8th. Y'all may want to listen carefully because it's a little confusing, but it's extremely beneficial. For all contributions made to the Rotary International Foundation between now and January 8th, this club, the Columbia Club, is going to match points, and I'll talk about points in a second. But basically you get a point for every $1 towards your point status within Rotary International Foundation giving. We're going to match those points until our 10,000 points has been given away. So it's on a first come, first served basis for all contributions to the Rotary International Foundation between now and January 8th. We will match the points. On top of that, the district is going to match points for every contribution between now and January 8th of $100 to $500. So if you'd like to make a nice contribution and get to the next level of your Paul Harris Fellow, everybody who gives $1,000 to the Rotary International Foundation becomes a Paul Harris Fellow, and then +1, +2, +3. So you can achieve the next status of your Paul Harris. I'm wearing my pin now, as a matter of fact, everybody gets a little pin. And you can get there faster by making these larger contributions. The points system works like this. When you give $1,000, you get 1,000 points. Those 1,000 points can be used to give to someone else to get a Paul Harris Fellow, or you can actually give it to another Rotarian, or you can give it to a loved one in your family, a spouse, a child, a professor. We actually had the School of Nursing Dean get a Paul Harris Fellow a year or two ago because somebody wanted to honor that person. So the point is an accumulation system in order to honor someone else, either as a Rotarian or non-Rotarian, with a Paul Harris Fellow. So you have a chance here to not only get a tax deduction, but also get multiple points for your point system. If you want to know how many dollars you are from your next Paul Harris Fellow level and your point system, you need to contact Robin Gorman. Although she's not here today, her contact information was in the newsletter. Plus everything that I just said about the points is in the newsletter today too. It's a very long newsletter with lots of great information that Cynthia put together for us today. But I want to reiterate that, and I will the next 2 meetings. Please consider giving a contribution. Now the contribution deadline is January 8th for a reason. You all know that I'm a financial planner and I can't give advice over the microphone, but something to think about would be, do you want to give your contribution in 2020 or in 2021? So by extending the deadline to January 8th, you actually have the opportunity to make your contribution next year and still get rewarded the points. So think about that from a tax efficiency standpoint. I won't say any more about that. It's something to think about. All right, let's see where we are at time. We're doing great. Any questions about the matching points? I don't think that was pretty clear on that. All right, we're going to take 2 minutes and have everybody introduce yourselves to your table mates, and then we'll get ready for our speaker today. 2 minutes, 30 seconds per person. Introduce yourselves. Thank you. Okay, we hope you know your table mates a little bit better now. Reminders to sit at new tables every week so you get to talk to new people if we actually ask you to do that. I do want to remind everybody, when you're finished eating, to put on your mask. We want everybody to feel comfortable here. It wasn't in Health and Happiness, and I haven't said it yet, but I asked this person if it was okay for me to announce that he has COVID, and he said it is okay. Steve Creech has been in seclusion and quarantine on his farm for the last 9 days. He's feeling better, but it hasn't been fun. He has been positive, tested positive for COVID. So we want everybody to feel comfortable here. Please put on your masks and be careful and safe with everybody. We have a special person here today to introduce our speaker. A lot of you all may know John Keith's brother, Tom Keith. He is here with us today. And Tom is the executive director, the head of the Sisters of Charity Foundation. And he's a former board Rotarian from the St. Andrews Club. He is on the board of the Columbia College currently, and he's going to introduce our speaker. Tom?
Thank you, Mason. We go way back, you know, Nixon Pruitt days and Toomey and other places. So, a couple of friends are joining by streaming. Say hi to my good friend Tom Gammon, who's a member of this club. Tom's birthday was Saturday, so we want to wish him a happy birthday. I am the younger brother of John Keith. John is so much older that he's almost like a father to me. Don't tell him I said that. Gives me great pleasure to serve as board chair of Columbia College this year, and the college is in transition, has been over the last several months, but we're really in a great place now as we have brought on board our 20th president, Dr. Tom Bogart. Dr. Bogart comes to us from Maryville College, which is in Maryville, Tennessee, and I think that's pretty close to Knoxville, maybe about 15, 20 miles from Knoxville. He had a great tenure there as president for 10 years, and doesn't always happen this way, but when you leave a college and they name you president emeritus, that's a good thing. So we were very fortunate to lure Dr. Bogart here to Columbia, South Carolina. He has an undergraduate degree from Rice down in Texas, and he has a master's and doctorate from Princeton. He's an economist. So after today's presentation, we'll have a test on supply and demand, elasticity, and the Keynesian theory of economics. But Dr. Bogart started with us on October 1st. He's married to Mary Bogart, and they're the proud parents of one daughter and a greyhound that they love, and they will be formally relocating to Columbia in December, actually next week, December 8th. The movers will be crossing the mountain from Tennessee down here to Columbia. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce the president of Columbia College, Tom Bogart, who has an undefeated football team, never a loss in the history of Columbia College.
I'm by far the best president Columbia College has right now. I think there's great agreement about that. And nothing says fun like an economist right after lunch. So, yeah, and as an economist, I am always looking for a free lunch, and so far I have not found it. But I'm happy to keep looking. I'm really thrilled to be here today, and hello to everyone on Facebook Live. It's a real privilege to join y'all here, and I'm real excited to be here in Columbia. As Tom said, my wife will be here with the furniture and the dog next week. I've been living in an apartment downtown for the last couple of months, and so I've gotten to know the town a little bit, and I've gotten to meet a lot of foreheads in that time. One of these days I'll actually start putting faces with names instead of just putting foreheads with names. But it's a real privilege to be here with you all today, and I look forward to joining with you and doing good work here in Columbia for years to come. And of course, Columbia College has been doing good work in Columbia and beyond for many years in the past. We were founded in 1854 by the Methodist Church as a college for women. And more, come back to that in a minute. Like every college, we have a reason to exist. We have a mission, and that mission emphasizes three things that we try to develop in all of our students and really all of our community. One is a devotion to service, a commitment to social justice, and an emphasis on leadership development. And those commitments are unchanging. Academic fashions, majors, different modes of delivery may come and go, but that fundamental devotion to those three tenets of our reason for existence continue at Columbia College. We also now, for about 20 years, have framed that approach to education around what we call the 4 C's. So Columbia College is 2 C's, right? And we've got 4 C's, so we've got C's. So 4 C's: courage, commitment, confidence, and competence. And in fact, when you come to college, or when you come to campus, which you can't do right now, so don't, but soon, when you come to campus for an event or to bring a relative for a campus visit because they're thinking about enrolling, then you will see we actually have